Cool. All right. Well, there's a few people out there. What's up, Lucas? So tonight we're going to be chatting a little bit about the past couple updates for Paladin, I think, and where it puts Paladin in the current setup. And then we're going to go through the August update, which could be decent, could be the first step in something, but we're going to talk about some of that stuff tonight. So joining me is Rua. What's up, brother?
Hey man, caught me just as I got off work, but yeah.
I know. I always I'll message Rua at like noon my time, and I'm like, oh wait, he's not up. And then I'll message him at like 4 p.m. like, hey, you ready to do this Ironheart run? He's like, dude, I'm at work. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm currently making sure a fermentation tank doesn't flipping explode.
Is it hot there?
No, it's freezing.
It's free. What's your definition of actual freezing, or like just sheer cold?
Yeah, it was -2 degrees Celsius overnight.
Okay, so
yeah, we're at the height of our winter here right now. Hence the hat, because I spent the last 6 hours in a cold room and I'm freezing. So, yeah,
that's still pretty crazy though. The height of your winter is -2, which is here, what, like 30 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like, it's technically freezing, but okay, so hang on, let me pull up real quick last month's update for Paladin. That way I don't miss anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so in your opinion, is Paladin in a better spot after second or third update now?
Yeah, to me it's pretty much, I'd say it's about 95% there. There's one other thing I would change, but as far as I see it, it's a pretty much completed job. Okay, some people are saying, oh, we didn't get everything we wanted from the update. Well, you're never going to get everything you want, and we're probably going to come back to this in a bit, but yeah, as far as I see it, they knew what some of the issues were, and the changes they've made are quite significant, especially in the highest end content. So yeah.
Well, I guess I'll just kind of go through the list here, and you tell me what you think its impact is. So we've got a new job trait, which actually isn't even updated on BG Wiki yet, so I actually had to pull it up here, which grants I think it's a protect bonus as long as the Paladin cast it. Is that beneficial? Is that kind of mute? What is that?
It's quite beneficial. The trait Shield Barrier, I don't remember the exact percentage off the top of my head, but what Shield Barrier does, it's Protect spells from Protect 1 to Protect 5. You'll obviously always be doing Protect 5. When cast by a Paladin, it takes a certain percentage of the defense of your shield and adds it to the percentage potency of that Protect spell. So it's quite strong. Especially if using the highest defense shield is the Sravatsta, the Aeonic. So if you cast it with that, it's substantially stronger than the White Mage's Protect Revive. The drawback there, and this is really, really stupid, is that Protect Revive will overwrite Protect 5 from a Paladin. So every time I go into like Dynamis, I'm like, okay, you guys have to do not do Protect Revive. I know it's like ingrained in you as a habit, but don't do it. But it's quite substantial, especially for jobs which have abilities which lower their defense, like Dark Knight Warrior, etc., or people subbing Warrior like a Sam or something. It's quite substantial. So yeah, I like that.
That was my biggest question of current content. What is the most relevant? And immediately to my comes to mind is always Wave 2 Dynamis, because they always have those high attack, high crit, below 50%. So I'm like, okay, could this be pretty beneficial to?
Yeah. The Link Shell I do Dynamis with we did 2 Sandorias last week, and I mean, of course, you're always going to get some people dying to Half-Lust. That's just part and parcel of that. But I noticed as a DPS, I could get away with not being in a full-on DT set as long as I had Protect 5. So then again, I did have the slug doing the tank down, so that was
the old
useful.
slug, baby. We did that last
slug.
run too, man. Like, and it was our best melee run ever when we combined it with some of the bard spells. Anyways, won't get into that, but I was super excited.
I think that's a pretty substantial thing. It ties into Paladin being the stronger physical defense tank, because it gives it gives a heightened degree of physical defense to everyone it's with. Because you do Protect 5 with Majesty. Majesty turns Protect spells AoE as well, so you can do Protect 5 on your party, and you can do Protect 5 on the other 2 parties in your alliance, and it will hit all of them. So, yeah, it's quite neat.
Do you think, I guess, where do you think Paladin, and we can talk about the other updates too, if you think it leads into that, but where do you think it ties into current content, or do you think this could be like a precursor to where they're going to move future content to, versus where like Helms and Rune Fencer obviously excels in magic and on the other categories?
You've been examined.
This kind of leads into the buff to Reprisal, which was part of the same update. But suffice to say, what they've done with the last few updates they've made to Paladin, they've literally turned Paladin into the analog of Rune Fencer, and I'm pretty sure that was intentional.
Yeah,
Rune Fencer is a solid tank against magic and physical if you have the EPO, but its physical defense is limited to itself, because the EPO does nothing for physical mitigation for anyone else other than the rune. And some NMs, like we're just saying, Half-Last, pretty much anything in Dynamis Divergence Wave 3, those physical attacks are going to flatten a DPS if they're caught. If they're caught out, it can do damage as well. Whereas Paladin is a pure support tank. It's got AoE cures, it's got Protect spells. It can actually reduce the enmity of people, and that brings me to the other thing I want them to change. But enough more on that in a moment. But yeah, it's literally the analog of Rune. Paladin actually works well with Rune. Paladin and Rune as the 2 tanks in a tank party is a brilliant combination.
Yeah, that's what we found out. That's what we ran our last run, was a Paladin and Rune, and just a mixture of their job abilities with of course the Beastmaster, but it worked out great. So
and the buff to Reprisal it addressed a problem with block rates on higher end content, and I've tanked Dynamis Divergence Wave 3 on 3 zones. I haven't done Windurst yet, but I can't imagine it's much different. I've tanked it using the Srivatsta, the Aeonic Shield, because what they did to Reprisal, they added another effect to Reprisal which increases the Paladin shield skill by 15%, and the Srivatsta has the highest base shield skill,
right,
129. So it's possible for a Paladin to get over 700 shield skill in a tanking build, and I was legitimately surprised at how much I was blocking on Wave 3. I'll be going up against a fist fighter or something, and I'll be blocking every single hit, even out of Reprisal. Occasionally a few weapon skills would be getting through, hitting me for like 500 or something, but when you're dealing with multi-hits like Raging Fist, Azuran Fist, that's just going to happen. But I was legitimately surprised how well it holds up. The only thing Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead. You got a thought, go ahead.
The only thing I would change to Paladin, I wouldn't bother giving it any more damage potential, because most people say, it needs Flashka, but to come back to Reprisal, Paladin actually does have a self-target spell that gives it some hate. It's only volatile enmity, but it's enough to get everything turning towards you once you've tagged with a Banishka. Reprisal does actually have 640 volatile enmity built into it. It doesn't have cumulative like Foil, so it's enough to get everything on you for other people to just either sleep things or do any form of crowd control, or you follow that with either Rampart, you follow that with Palisade. What else you got? You could even sub-rune, which is something I've been doing lately. You can either use P-Flug or Unvelation, which will get you some more hate. I've been doing Paladin sub-rune using the Sravatsta. Aegis against serious tank busters, like the Ixion in the Dullahan Ambuscade, Scintillant Lance, and that's an Aegis.
Yeah, that was my next thing. Is like, where is like the Aegis or Aegis or however you say it? Where does that still?
Tomato. It's the Aegis is what you use if you're facing a massive, like anything which is like either a black mage or has really heavy magic damage, and you do not have a rune fencer in the same party as you. That's when I'd say the Aegis is what you use. Otherwise, I'm quite keen on the Sravatsta. People say, "Oh, why using the Sravatsta Ionic Shield over like O-Chain or something?" Like, well, you're not getting hit that hard to actually get a good MP restoral from the O-Chain. I'm getting hit for nothing when I'm blocking. I've got higher base HP, NP, and I've got more enmity, which means I can spec my cure build to build more enmity into. And that's something else people really do underrate how strong that is.
Well, so I mean, that just goes back to is like the O-Chain in Aegis is not a 119, right? They're a 99.
Yeah, not at both of them completely lack shield skill. So you cast Reprisal, and using that, you're getting fuck all out of it.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, do you think with just that ability in general, like, do you think they're afraid to break those two Remas? Why they don't make it a 119? They're trying to band-aid it with a magic?
Yeah, I think they are. Don't get me wrong, the O-Chain is solid, but I've had really good personal experience using the Sravatsta on the highest level content we've got. The only thing is, if you're facing a tank buster and you can't swap to your Aegis, like say you're facing something which has strong physical and strong magic and you don't have a rune, that's why I sub rune fencer on Paladin. So I'm like, okay, what element do I need to watch for? I'll use Rampart, which is special damage taken reduction that breaks the caps, so it kind of emulates Aegis. And when that falls, I'll do Velation, and when Velation falls, I'll just go and use Rampart again. So rotate them.
It's just so funny to me that the Aeonic Shield turned from a meme 2 months ago to all right, it's probably the best thing you should wear. So
it's pretty underrated. I like the fact it's the only REMA shield you've got which has got enmity on it. And when you're speccing your cure build, especially if you're using the SU4, SU5, the Caballarius sword or the Morotak, you'll really like that extra enmity from it. Okay. And the higher base HP means that you just retain enmity good. There's going to be people who can have various things to say about what I'm saying, but hey, that's all good. The whole point is to have a discussion.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Personal experience, I would say Paladin. I actually prefer Paladin to the Rune Fencer in Wave 3 Dynamis because it's got a whole lot more it can bring. Say like DDs are ripping hate still. Like, I know some DDs in my group who'll just weapon skill right off the bat. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Hold up.
Yeah, trust me, you know.
The only change to Paladin I would change cover. Cover needs to be a JA that works across the alliance. So anyone standing behind the Paladin, any attacks which are meant to be directed at them get redirected to the Paladin, because cover is a stupidly good JA if you can use it. Yep. That's a problem.
It's party, right? It's party only, right?
It's party only, but it's a really, really strong ability when you see the extra effect on it. But who knows? Maybe I'll cover that in a video in future.
Yeah.
But suffice to say, Paladin, Rune Fencer, both completely viable for content. As long as you know the fight and you know what you're facing, the tank should know anyway, because researching and preparing is part of the tank's job. So
would you say they're doing a good job, or would you like? Okay, good. Okay, Good. Yeah, like I said, like my only thing is like I think they're scared to address the shield problem, but I'm at least glad that in the meantime they're making Paladin like much more usable in all content.
The only shield problem you have is people who are using Aegis and using nothing else. That's the people who are complaining. If you're using Aegis against something which is physical heavy, you're using a shield that's got no innate skill.
Right.
Think about that. There are some shields on the auction house which have got a higher block rate than the Aegis.
Yeah.
It's not what the Aegis was meant for.
Yeah. Interesting. That's what I said. Like, I'll be interested if they ever do like eye level the O chain, but
they won't.
All right.
You that.
Well, we'll leave a little cliffhanger there. We'll let Rua save some stuff for, I'm sure, a future Paladin video that he's got in the works. So
yeah, someday.
Cool. Well, let's get into this month's update, which I think you've got a few things on your mind about.
Yeah.
So let's start with the storyline content, and I want to read a line because it is here. Like, the big thing right now is like no one knows that does this mean a new zone, or is this just them fancy way of trying to sell the content? So
you've been examined.
Right, where's that? Oh, sorry. Give me 1 second. Here we go. The most exciting news is a brand new storyline will be coming to Vana'diel. This story, which will play out over the course of many version updates rather than just a few, here we go, explores a side of Vana'diel that's never before seen the light. Okay, so does that mean that we've never seen the physical area before? What does that mean?
Wasn't expecting that. I really don't know. I could be optimistic and say it's a completely different zone, different continent, but they would have made more of a fuss about it if they think they had.
Yeah, so they've made it clear that it's probably going to be something to do with Iroha and Tenzin, because you have to have completed Rhapsodies of Vana'diel to do the new content and questline. And then they explicitly call out, if you haven't, here's what it says. So I hope that those of you who haven't yet experienced Iroha's tale in full will take this opportunity to do so.
Well, yeah. I wonder, because there's a lore video I've got coming out tomorrow. Spoiler alert.
Whoa!
Yeah, spoiler alert. There's one coming out tomorrow. And one of the topics which gets covered once or twice is something that takes place in the Far East, which is where Iroha and Tenzin are from.
Right.
There's something called the Yugudo Mikado. The Mikado is basically like, can I imagine like Qing Dynasty China in a way? Or it's a very interesting system there. Basically, the Yugudo have pretty much like, it's got Yugudo, it's got different races there, beastmen, non-beastmen. The only character from the Mikado we meet is Geshai, if you've done Treasures of Artagan.
Yep.
And the Mikado has been seeking like peace for a while. So the Far East has, that's the only thing I'd say if it's to do with Iroha and Tenzin.
That's just the only thing I can think, since they explicitly call out like Iroha's journey. Like, and you have to have completed Rhapsodies to do the new storyline.
Don't know the most wild thing I would think? It's a storyline that's going to culminate in Summoner getting Phoenix. Yeah,
that's what we were talking about on the Discord earlier. Was like, okay, yeah. Phoenix incoming.
Because the model is actually in the DAT files.
Yeah, we were talking about like AoE regain or something, like what they would allow Phoenix to have.
What I was saying, like Phoenix to be like a pure support avatar. Yeah, I'd say that's a good shout. Tenzin's Great Katana has got Phoenix in it.
Yeah, I actually just played. I was redoing another character for because I'm going to make one for Valifor. Actually, going to transfer it over. And man, the Rhapsody storyline was pretty good. But
in my experience, most people just skip through cutscenes, which is why I do a lore series, because people are like, oh, I didn't know this. I'm like, well, if you've done the artifact quest for these jobs, you would have probably found it. Obviously, you skip through it.
Yeah,
I like telling a story.
Yeah, I mean, the Tenzin and Aroha, like, I feel like you find out, I mean, I don't want to spoil anything, but, like, you find out their relationship, and, like, then they, like, super care for each other, but then you don't really get much more, so, like, I'm all for, finding more about their, their background, if that's what it is, so.
Yeah, the Far East would be interesting, but the scenario developer they got on is a person who worked on Windurst and Kazan. That's initially what got me thinking about the southern continent, Olzido.
Mm-hmm.
But since they're talking about Tenzin and Aroha, most likely Far East, or something to do with the Far East.
It's interesting. Here's where I'm thinking about, though, man, because, like, they're saying that it's going to be over a long period of time. Like, so are they building up to something really big for this 20th anniversary that's coming up? Like, oh my gosh.
Dude, I'll be real. If they did a game engine update and they released another expansion, I would be legitimately shocked. I'd be pleasantly shocked, but I'd be legitimately like, whoa, okay. That's pretty interesting, because the lore is there. It's just there's always been a question if they would actually act on it, but
yeah,
maybe a little bit of a pipe dream. But the fact they've got on a old developer who worked on the story for some pretty extensive stuff in the past, and they look like Square Enix itself is redistributing and restructuring its online department.
Yeah, because they combined them. They brought their teams together for some of the stuff. So
it kind of makes me wonder. It's a pipe dream. I know I shouldn't get my hopes up, as some people would say.
Dude, I know. I can see it in your eyes. You're like,
my lack of like that. Yeah, but yeah, I'm pretty optimistic. My initial oh shit thought was when they were talking about a new story content, and one of the pictures and the update preview was just a bunch of mammals and Ambuscade. I'm like, oh god, okay, that's not going to be anything interesting. But then they've said in that same preview that the new Volume 1 is a completely new fight against mammal sages. I'm like,
yeah,
oh, so that's actually new Ambuscade. It isn't this Ambuscade based storyline. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, that literally goes into what I was about to say is I'm gonna keep you holding on to this Beastmaster update. So the second part was a brand new Ambuscade. And I mean, it's exciting for me because I've only been back for just over a year now, but even in the year that I've been back, all of the Ambuscade have been a repeat for other people. So let me just read it, and then you tell me what you think we have to look forward to. So Intense Ambuscades this month will feature an all-new battle against magic-wielding Mammal Jaw. As you would expect from an Intense Ambuscade, the battle is intended for veteran players. Okay, blah, blah, blah. So, magic-wielding Mammal Jaw. So, what are you thinking?
I just had a horrible flashback to Sage Lord Famulja in Ambuscade. In Besieged. If you remember that Sage Lord in Besieged, horrible. That thing was not nice at all. Its ground burst just wiped scores of people. You would see like a whole bunch of people dead. You're like, okay, the Sage Lord was here. So yeah, for once, I'm going into this with absolutely no clue, like everyone else.
Wow.
So maybe, I've got no idea what's coming. I can make some guesses, but the guesses I make, it's not going to be very pleasant. I think it's going to be something to do with the elements that the helpers are casting. I think there's going to be a few helpers. We see them in the screenshot. And you have to do something to the helpers to make the Sage Lord vulnerable to damage. This is going to be completely summoner proof. I can tell you straight up the bat, because ground burst is fucking nasty. That is a nasty attack, especially from something that's got a lot of NAB.
Sorry, Fraud.
Yeah, sorry, Fraud, if watching, bro. I think you're probably shit out of luck here. I'm not sure what the exact mechanics will be, but it's definitely going to be something magic based. Maybe not black mages. Actually, maybe it might be. Maybe you need to balance the damage you get. But I'll do my usual. I'll form a team from my link shell after the update, because the update lands on a weekend for me.
You've been examined.
So I'll form a squad. I'll do my usual thing. I'll hop on tank or on a healer, and I'll see what's going on, and I'll try and figure it out. I mean, I'm always talking with the people I do Ambuscade with on Discord. So if someone sees something, they'll point it out. I'll make a note of the timestamp in the recording, like, okay, what did they see? And then I'll go and look over that myself.
Okay.
So it's going to be interesting, this one. It's not going to be easy, because mammals are not nice to fight. And the Sage Lord brings back very, very unpleasant memories. So
I think I see some sweat starting to form on you. So yeah,
good.
All right. So okay, I'm gonna take a little drink here before we we move into the. Did you switch drinks? It looks darker than the last one.
Yeah, this is a porter.
Okay.
Darker, roastier.
Is that you?
Yeah.
Or is that?
Yeah. It's one of mine.
Oh,
Elemental porter. It's used a lot of dark roasted malt, a little bit of peat smoked. So yeah, it's only 6%, but it's quite beefy.
Okay. Well, cheers.
Cheers. It's Friday afternoon. I don't give a shit at this point. Let's just go.
Well, I'm on baby leave, so I try to be
yeah, congratulations, man.
Yeah, so I try to be awake when my wife sleeps, but if you haven't been through it before, like the first month or so, like she breastfeeds 100%, so it's a lot harder on her than it is me right now.
Yeah,
because you have to pump to build up a supply before she can go do her own thing, and I've got food that I can throw in the microwave and put in a bottle.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, I admire you for that, because that's something I can never do. My nephew's a handful. He's a 3-year-old. He's a right bundle of energy. His Duracell batteries have got no flipping end.
My son is 3, so yeah. Trust me, he's started to really kick into gear, and it's actually it's harder on the first one, because he's used to having all the attention all the time. So now he doesn't get it. So
that's gonna be fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into the fun stuff, and let's talk about Beastmaster. And let me read the paragraph, because there's going to be people watching this at a later date about this month's update. So here we go. Let's see. Blah, 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 blah. Next up are job adjustments, which will be coming to Beastmasters this month. We've got some adjustments to accuracy, magic accuracy, and subtle blow that take effect when a Beastmaster and their pet are attacking the same target. We're also adding I don't know what this word is supposed to mean. Veritable herd of new... What? I think it's a translation.
Veritable.
Okay. Herd of new pets to your something. So your repertoire. I'm going to put that word in there. Rather than one-size-fits-all pets, we've elected to bring ones with very specific strengths and weaknesses. One thing of note, based on listening to the Nudawn podcast, I made that last part up, our Beastmaster adjustments for this month are predicted on the belief that Beastmaster's strength should be fighting together with their pets, while leaving the door open for other adjustments on a later date. So let's break this down because I know you're chomping at the bit here. Okay, first sentence. Accuracy, magic accuracy, and subtle blow. But it sounds like... Here's what's confusing to me. It says that there's going to be new job traits. But then this also says that accuracy, magic accuracy, and subtle blow when they're attacking the same thing as their target, which means it sounds like they're only in effect if they're also engaged and not just their pet.
Yeah, that's exactly what it means. Yeah, that job trait is going to be whenever the Beastmaster and the pet are attacking the same target, they are both going to get an accuracy, magic accuracy, and subtle blow bonus. That's pretty much on the nose. They're making absolutely no illusions about that. So yeah, that instantly filled me with a lot of hope because that indicates to me they clearly know what some of the problems with the job are. Accuracy problems when you have to try and accommodate a pet stats as well, and the excessive TP feature of having two things attacking the same target. So, and also magic accuracy for landing the additional effect of pet attacks, and for primal rend and cloud splitter consistency. So that indicates to me that, okay, you guys do know what's going on here. So that's got me with some hope there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, so do you think this can be beneficial to those like without an aimer though?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm working towards the mythic pretty soon. I've been using the Ambuscade axe. It's perfectly workable.
with primal?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I guess it's got the...
I guess if you were dedicating yourself specifically to primal rend and cloud splitter, you don't have the aimer. You're using either the fascia, but the MP. If you're working on the MP, you might as well just get the aimer. To be honest.
That's true.
Or you'll be using the tri-edge for the TP bonus. But yeah, I've been doing fine. Say like I took Beast to his frontline DPS to Dynamis Sandoria the other day, and if the puller said, this is a blue statue, I simply swapped to using Cloud Splitter. And if it was a physical, I just did Decimation.
Yeah.
Wave 2 boss, I did Ruinator to open a Darkness skill chain on the statue, Corded Lead and Salute, Fluffy Breedo, a name which made all of my Linkshell friends laugh. They thought I said Fluffy Burrito, but it's Fluffy Breedo.
I mean, that's how I read it when you sent me a message earlier. I was like, I gotta look this up because he didn't mean to say that.
Fluffy Breedo. Yeah, Fluffy Breedo. Fluffy Breedo did a magic defense down debuff. Corsair slammed it for cap damage leaden. I followed that with Cloud Splitter, which hit for 50k, and just did that 3 more times. And he just fell over.
So that stacks with your Geomancer, right?
Yeah. In a way, a Beastmaster is a Geomancer's best friend, because even outside of Blaze and Bolster, you can still. It makes your Luopan go further because your Luopan is still a stronger effect, but it's helping the whole group reach the cap. So
yeah, the only data that's not out there is the Beastmaster abilities are nerfed though, right? They are nerfed on bosses and Dynamis, correct?
Well, you don't really get a chance to use them on Dynamis bosses, so it's kind of
like wave 2 and the final boss, like. So like so like wave 2, you know how bubbles are nerfed from a Geomancer.
Yeah.
Are they nerfed from corrosive? Like corrosive ooze, is that nerfed at all?
No.
Okay. I don't know why I thought one episode we thought that.
Yeah. SE was very particular on that. They wanted to nerf Geomancy in content where they thought Geomancy would make it too easy.
Yeah.
So they kind of made people think, okay, how else do we compensate for Geomancer not being as strong as it usually is? So some runs, people bringing Dancer, Beastmaster, people are starting to cotton onto it.
Yeah, I mean, we literally had our Idris Geo just stand in the middle of the Sandoria Wave 2 boss. They just kept Geo Frailty up and just stood in the middle of it with Indie Wilt. And then stacked that with Beastmaster. And we had 2 deaths the whole run, and it was our best melee run ever. It was great.
Yeah, Beastmaster is also really, really strong on Wave 3. It might fall a little bit behind on Wave 2, especially, because you're usually dealing with, like, R15 MPDDs. Like, I was up against 2 Kalad Darks and whatnot, and they're no joke.
Yeah,
but after the run, there was a guy who passed just Wave 3, and I came borderline second, third. And there was 5 DPS in the group, and I was like tied with the other Dark Knight.
Yep, same.
It's like that was, they were like, wow, dude, that was really consistent. Like, well, Decimation's doing consistent 35 to 40k. Yeah, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, and that's where I'm looking forward to the accuracy buff with Decimation, because it's also pretty random. Like, my Decimations will go from like 20 to 50k, and I think that a lot of that has to do with just like a little bit less accuracy than I don't know, but
that's 2 things. You're right. A bit of that is accuracy, but it's also double attack.
That's
Decimation. True. Decimation responds. Beastmaster and Decimation in particular responds so well to Fighter's Roll.
Yeah,
big time.
Yeah,
it's the same. It's the same deal as Monk. Monk weapon skills operate in the same way.
Yeah, since you mentioned the other day about the you keeping up with the Monk or surpassing in the Monk a little bit, I think I'm like, okay. And then today you messaged me about like, okay, that Corsair really brings it to the next level. So I'm excited about it. So, okay, so let's talk a little bit about the pet. Okay, the pets, I'm confused a little bit because I thought that's what they already did with pets. It's like each pet seems pretty specific in what they do with their ready abilities. So are you thinking it's something different or more of the same?
I think the pets they're going to add, I mean, we know that they're doing something to some of the existing jug pets. So what that's going to mean exactly, I'm not sure. It's really anyone's guess. But when they say that rather than have one size fits all, each of these pets are going to have their own strengths and weaknesses. What I think it's going to be, you're going to get at least 3, maybe 4 different pets. One of them we know, it's the barnacle crab, Crab Katoa. That one, if they copy paste what Crab Katoa does in the Voidwalker NMs and make it into a smaller version, that's going to be pretty strong because Crab Katoa was quite dangerous back then. It had a pretty good defense down move, Venom Shower, but it has a unique move called Mega Scissors. Mega Scissors, which does 25% of the target's maximum HP. And that percentage increases with defense down effects. I doubt there's going to be a copy-paste, but it's going to be quite strong.
Okay. So let's look
that
up.
One,
so
that one.
How do we know that you think that's going to be? How do we know?
Because it shows up in the version update preview screenshot. You look right next to the Beastmaster and you see a barnacle crab right next to them.
You say Crab Katoa?
Crab Katoa.
Okay.
Funny name,
here.
But it's memorable.
And you think we're going to get an ability that mimics the Mega Scissors?
Not beat for beat. It's either going to be a toned down version of it, or it's going to be a really strong attack. That's going to have the fragmentation property, because Beastmaster could really do with the physical fragmentation.
Okay, because the effect of this is like just resets conal area effect TP attack, resets enmity, used instead of big scissors, which is
just regular damage.
Oh, just regular damage. Okay.
Yeah, I have some very distinct memories of Mega Scissors one-shotting, well, not necessarily one-shotting, but killing Aegis Paladins and ninjas in pretty what seemed like one shot.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It seemed like it, but it was a very vivid memory because the mages had to run out of range of Venom Shower because it hit so hard. And they had to run in and quickly cure and then erase the defense down before he did it again. But yeah. So
you think any other pets that you think are for sure?
Yeah.
The crab?
Yeah. They also said in the preview to this preview, the last one, the pets we are going to get are ones we've not seen before. So these aren't going to be just reskin models. These are going to be completely different pets.
Dinosaurs?
And There's a few that Beastmaster does not have yet, which would be quite interesting. I've got 2 which I think would be a good bet. If either of these 2 get added, especially the second one, we could have a pretty big update on our hands. One of them would be a gnat.
Okay, I hate gnats, so...
Yeah, on that note, a gnat would be the enfeebler. A pet dedicated to just enfeebling.
I was going to say, like, that bio...
I look at the TP moves that a gnat has. Bombilation resets TP, which could be a pretty big deal if this subtle blow buff is big.
Yep, especially depending on the cooldown, because, I mean, sub 50%. Wave 2 bosses reset their TP.
And if you were paired, say like Beastmaster was paired with a monk for DPS, you've got Shijin Spiral and you've got Chi Blast on the mob. Beastmaster and their pet are feeding close to nothing because both have broken the subtle blow cap. And the Beastmaster just does Bombilation, just resets TP every 10 seconds.
Yeah,
that would kind of piss summoners off a little bit, but it's about time someone else got the ability to do that, because no blue mage does. Blue mage has got ways of doing it, but it's not really reliable.
So to pause just a minute and go back to the first topic of the 3 buffs around subtle blow.
Mm-hmm.
Why subtle blow? Like, I feel like it's just a random thing to give a Beastmaster. Do you think it's going to be something that stacks with the user and the pet?
Yeah, I think that's a guarantee. I think that is 100% a given. They realize that if you have a Beastmaster, which is usually dual wielding, that's a fair bit of TP feed unless they've spec'd their build to cap out subtle blow. And the pet on top of that, that's a fair bit of TP feed. So they realized the key thing is, would it be subtle blow 2? Like, would it actually break the cap on gear? Because some Beastmaster pets actually get subtle blow 5 trait innately. That's something I didn't know until a few weeks ago.
What? What'd you say?
Yeah. Some of the Beastmaster pets, 3 that I know of, get subtle blow 5 as a trait, so they've already got 25 to 30% subtle blow innate.
And what's the cap?
50.
Okay. And subtle blow 2 does what?
Subtle blow 2 breaks the cap all the way to 75. The only job that gets that in abundance is monk. So if this Beastmaster trait, it'll be very easy to test after the update. Be very easy to test. And I'll probably one of the first things I'd do.
What do you think the biggest implication will be for if you can go of the subtle blow? Clearly they got a plan for it. What do you think the biggest implication will be? Is it like solo stuff or in conjunction with other classes attacking one particular thing?
It's both. For solo play, it would help out a fair bit. And I think the universal thing to take away, the fewer TP moves the target's using, the longer your pet is going to survive, because some pets get melted by magic damage, special attacks.
Okay.
So something like that would actually help their survivability between uses of reward. So that's the big implication there. And if Beast could join Monk as one of the jobs which has a lot of subtle blow, but not only just has subtle blow, but if it has a Gnat that can reset TP, that's a big deal, because Beast and Monk are already a pretty good duo for DDs. Decimation and Victory Smite work together very, very well. So
yeah, I'm interested in this reset TP. I'm just thinking of a lot of content to where that could be relevant, especially depending on if it's a whatchamacallit, depending on how many ready charges it uses.
Or during like the clutch part of a fight, like below 25%, a Beastmaster could just hit Unleashed and just spam it, just bang, spam it.
Yeah, or in like wave 2, it's like mainly like 50% is like the balls to the wall part. But
I'm also looking at the other moves a Nat gets, and you've got Booming Bombilation, which is Plague defense down and Magic defense down. You've got Pandemic Nip, which transfers status ailments on the Nat to the target. You've got Insipid Nip, which is like a Dark Knight's absorb stat on steroids. It's pretty strong. So, and that could be just like a general pain in the ass enfeebler TP.
The
stealer.
TP reset thing is like, I think, the biggest thing. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and that would be pretty good. The second pet, which I would think would be a legit game changer, would blow everyone's mind. I think that most people on the Beastmaster forum on the auction house are praying that this is one that is added. Leafkin.
Yeah, because
Leafkin.
That bitch. Sorry for my language.
I say worse than you.
Just thinking about fucking
Ignis.
what you call it? SR. Yeah, Sinister Rain.
Yeah.
She's not too strong, but she's got that one ability that's just like.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah. Leafkin. Some of the moves a Leafkin has, especially since Beastmaster pet abilities that are done on themselves tend to also affect the Beastmaster. Some of these things are pretty good. The Leafkin has got Consecration, which is stun. That's just a really strong stun. But these two moves, Phototrophic Blessing, which is Cure 5, Regen, Defense bonus, and Magic Defense bonus.
And
it's also got Phototrophic Wrath, Magic Attack bonus, Haste, and Light. That's a beefy move.
Yeah,
if they get
especially depending on what they would put the attack boost at.
Yeah, because Beastmasters are normally pretty starved for attack bonus without using the Sheep's Berserk, which I learned the hard way is not viable in hard-earned content.
Yeah.
For middle, if you have a dedicated tank and you can manage your defense, it's good, but in stuff like Dynamis, it's suicidal. So, yeah. I learned that the hard way. But a Leafkin pet would be a legitimate game changer for the job. If it's okay, we're in a full-on Zerg here, you can't really utilize Killer Instinct. Defense down is covered from a Geo or a combination of jobs. Just get the Leafkin out, Unleashed, Phototrophic Blessing, Phototrophic Wrath, and just go nutshit.
As long as it's AoE and not just Master. So
if that's AoE, the mechanic is there because summoners' avatars can do party buffs.
Yeah.
If that's AoE,
well,
we're wandering far into Fantasy Island here. But
well, you've got the ooze ability. That type of AoE stuff, anything within the range. So they could do a party buff that's AoE.
But that would be legitimate shit a brick moment. That'd be whoa, okay, we are talking.
Well, then what's crazy about that is then you have to rethink what you do with your bards, because if you boost your attack through this pet, do you even need attack boost songs? Do you switch those to etudes? There's all kinds of stuff that you think you could do.
It would depend if it's a static value or if it's a percentage. If it's a percentage, then it'll probably make minuets go further, and you could just say sod chaos roll, you don't need it. If it's a static value, then you might not even need minuets. So, yeah.
Well, the first statement you said there, if it's percentage, what would that difference be? Sorry, because minuet is an exact value, instead of specific attack plus, right?
Yeah, it's a specific attack plus, which varies on the amount of minuet and song plus you have. So, yeah. It would really depend if it's a static value or a percentage. Either way, a Leafkin would be a pretty big shout. And I'd say a thing, if you're looking for a straight-up AoE burner, AoE damage, I know that some Beastmasters have been calling for
You've been examined.
For a level 199... level 119 links.
I just can't imagine them out doing the grasshopper, dude.
The grasshopper.
You can just one hit. Yeah, I guess. But what would be the need to go AoE something that's magical?
Well, you could ask the same thing about blue mages, couldn't you? So,
I guess, but the same thing that grasshoppers do is just to go. I'm gonna go cap my merits in Zetal or Ruaumoko real quick,
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Just one moment. There we go.
A little extra light. Look at that. Look at it, little showing up his little face. Let me see a little HD Rua here.
Yeah, sorry, the sun's going down. It's getting on in the day now. But hey.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, we're talking to Rua right now. The sun's going down. It's 2 a.m. in the morning here. The sun's, in a few hours it'll be coming up.
Yeah, I am from the future, but I can still say it's shit.
He literally is from the future. It's literally Friday. Well, it's technically Friday here now, but it's closer to Saturday there than here. So, oh goodness. Okay, so all right. So we've got anything you want to add on pets? Because you've talked about 2. They said what, 3 or 4 or something?
They were kind of vague about it, but they said a herd. So that usually means it's a fair number.
All right, let's Google the definition of herd.
It's probably not good for you.
A large group of animals. All right, so that's definitely more than 2. I feel like is confident, right?
Yeah, I'd say 3 or 4. I'd say 4 would be what it is. Though I think it's either going to be a lynx on top of that, which is just general magic utility, or they wanted a pet which is dedicated to just doing absolute balls to the wall damage. Give Beastmaster a scorpion. Yeah. Seriously.
I think they need like I said, I think the biggest thing they need is the ability. Okay, well, before I start talking about what I think they need, anything else you want to hit on in terms of pets besides the 2, like the biggest things, like in terms of what you want?
Yeah, I want them to change the Faz, the pig. I want the pig's magic haste to get changed to job ability haste.
Okay, yeah. So that's a good point because it's 25 magical, right?
30. It's haste 2.
Okay, so it's haste 2, and that's magical. So anyone just watching, okay, so you've got multiple tiers of your haste cap, and one of those is magical, then you have job ability. And right now, the only job ability haste is Samurai Hasso and Dancer, right? Is that right?
Last resort from a Dark Knight with Desperate Blows. That's job ability haste, but you can't keep that up full time.
Right.
A Dragoon gets 10% from their Wyvern being alive. That's pretty easy to do. But Beastmaster as a job which uses a fencer, which is, I think they want to use a fencer build. Fencer builds are always suboptimal because you can never hit the attack speed cap with one. It's a real pain in the ass.
So just for the sake of, there's a lot of people actually watching right now. What's a fencer build?
Fencer build is what a warrior main. If any of you watching are on warrior right now, look for your job traits and you'll see a trait called fencer. Basically, fencer is a trait that when you are using a one-handed weapon, only one-handed weapon, or one-handed weapon with a shield, you get a pretty big TP bonus and critical hit rate.
Okay.
Which is pretty good for Savage Blade builds and also Decimation and Dolchenius builds on warrior. Now, the problem, and it's a big one, is if you are using a fencer build, it's impossible for you to hit the attack speed cap without a dancer, which is a big problem. Because no matter all the spike damage you're doing, a two-handed weapon with Hasso to get to the attack speed cap of 80% is still going to outdamage you in the long run. It's a big problem. And the logical solution is to add job ability haste to fencer. But since I'm not sure they would ever do that for some silly reason, let's just add it to one of the Beastmaster's haste moves.
Yeah. No, I agree. That's the first thing I noticed of, like, especially if like you run a couple characters. Like I always run a bard with me. So I've got my alternate character, which is, maxed out bard. And I'm like, okay, so on my Beastmaster, well, it got me to thinking because you mentioned earlier about the Corsair and the double attack and the TP return made a big deal on your Beastmaster. Like, okay, well, I can always cap out my haste, but like, I don't have any other abilities to take that even further. So that's a really good point, actually. So.
Yeah. the other thing, which if they were to change one thing, speaking of Corsair, the one thing I'd like them to change with Corsair, the only buff Corsair should get, they should change Blitzer's role from being weapon delay reduction to job ability haste. That would therefore give Corsair a form of haste that Bard cannot match.
All right, well, I'm a noob, so we're gonna look this up. Blitzer's right?
Yeah, Blitzer's role. I'm not surprised you've not really heard of it, 'cause it's pretty shit.
Okay, reduces melee attack delay for party within area. Lucky number 4, unlucky 9. Maxed out at plus 12% melee attack delay reduction.
That's very misleading. Most you would read that and think, oh, that's actually job ability haste. It's not. It's weapon delay reduction, which is not good because your weapon delay determines the TP you get per hit.
Right. So especially if you've capped out your whatchamacallit. Oh my god, fucking brain fart. Ninja ability. What am I thinking of? Jesus Christ.
Dual wield.
Dual wield. Okay, so if you cap out your dual wield, does that take it beyond that and continue to lower it?
No. Oh yeah, even if you're at the attack speed cap, it won't increase your attack speed anymore, but it will lower the TP you get per hit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't want to continue to use that.
That's why
you just want to see it be switched to a job ability haste reduction, or job ability haste. Sorry, not reduction, but job ability haste.
Yeah, so that's the Faz, that's the pig that has that move. The move is called Zealous Snort. Yep. It does haste. It's got some neat effects, that one. But the Faz has a haste move, and the Leafkin. If we do get a Leafkin, if that's job ability haste, game changer. It's a simple fix, because if you want Beastmaster to be the fencer build job that can get the most out of that build, then they need to get a form of job ability haste native to them. Otherwise, it's pointless.
So you would sub Warrior? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. If Beastmaster got a form of job ability haste, Warrior would be the best sub for the job. Straight up. Yeah.
It's very interesting.
It's a pain. It's a pain in the ass because you've got offensive trait, which is pretty comparable to a Warrior's. Beastmaster gets a few offensive gifts on its road to Jobmaster. It's got the fencer trait, but it can't use it because dual wielding is going to always outdo it. Because when you are dual wielding, you can actually reach the attack speed cap. It's infuriating, and I can't believe they haven't actually addressed this yet.
So just to give some exact numbers, so Fencer Beast gets at level 80, 87, and 94. So Fencer 3 is a plus 400 TP plus 7% crit rate, which 400 TP is a lot.
And then you factor in what you get from job gifts as well. That number gets higher. Especially
when you're talking about, well, I guess it depends on what weapon skill you're using, but
yeah. TP bonus would really benefit Cloud Splitter, Primal Rend especially, and it would do if Beastmaster got native job ability haste and it could use offensive build with its mythic. We're talking, man.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was looking up the for Primal Rend, the multiplier is crazy.
It scales really high.
It's insane. Really high. So if you could get a plus 400 plus with your earring, that's 700-800. What's the earring? Moonring earring.
Then you factor in what you get from job gifts, and you're looking at almost 1,000 TP bonus. Off the top of my head, I think it's that. Don't quote me on that, but it's pretty high.
Yeah.
And add to this that Beastmaster has a portable Geomalays it can carry around with it, with 2 pets, Fluffy Breedo. That name always gets me.
Yeah, no, I was looking at it. One is one's a static but lasts longer. The other one depends on TP when you use it. So I was looking that up a little bit.
The other one is swooping Shivago, which is the Tolfair, the bird, which does minus 25 magic defense bonus and defense bonus in one shot. but the duration's not as generous.
Right.
So I just use Fluffy Breedo because he bursts damage pretty good, especially if you go from Ruinator to Primal Rend or Primal Rend to Ruinator, and then you do Pestilent Plume burst off of that. It hits pretty hard. I think the highest Pestilent Plume burst I've seen, I mentioned it earlier on when I was talking about the Dynamis Sandoria Wave 2 boss. The highest one I saw was 72k.
For what? Your Primal? Without Aimer?
No. That's a Fluffy Breedo's Pestilent Plume. That was off.
Pestilent Plume hit the pet's ability hit for 72k?
Yeah.
And it's is it a physical ability?
Magic, you burst it. I was doing Ruinator, Distortion, Ruinator to Leaden Salute. That does Darkness. When I saw the Leaden Salute land.
What trait does it have?
It's got innate magic attack bonus and magic burst bonus.
No, I mean, to burst it, what trait do you need to burst on?
Just Darkness.
Darkness? Okay.
Yeah, which is pretty easy because you just go from Ruinator to Primal Rend or Primal Rend to Ruinator. There you go, Darkness.
Interesting.
So what I was doing in that
things.
Yeah, what I was doing in that fight was Ruinator, Corsair did Leaden Salute, cap damage, and then I did Pestilent Plume. That did 72k. I then do Cloud Splitter. I extend it to a second Darkness, and I do Pestilent Plume again. And it's like 3/4 of his health is just gone. Yeah.
It's nasty.
Yeah. I should add to clarify, though, I was using the SP Unleashed, which you need to because Pestilent Plume uses like 2 or 3 charges. So I wanted to do it 2 times in a row. But still, for like fights like that where you need a lot of magic damage, that little AccuX will go quite a way. Yeah, he's quite nice. But overall, I'm pretty optimistic about this Beastmaster update, and I don't think it's going to be the last one. That last bit, when they kind of leave the door open to future changes on top of that, I think they might revert the distance to use ready moves. They might revert it a bit. They have to be really, really careful whenever they buff jobs like Beastmaster.
Yeah,
otherwise you get what happened with Monk.
Yeah, he can just outdamage everyone.
Yeah.
I mean, that was my last point of the night was what did they mean by while leaving the door open for other adjustments at a later date? So all right, let me back up a little bit. That statement goes with them clarifying that the way that you should be playing Beast is with your pet.
Yeah. I think they are on the same wavelength as myself and some of the like-minded people like me, maybe yourself included. They are being very careful about buffing. That's why I think this update is going to do a lot for Beastmaster's frontline DPS potential. They have to be really careful and monitor this update and how the players use it and how it actually works before they consider reverting the
delay, the distance. Yeah, like, dude, isn't it just so weird though that we were talking about this 2 months ago? And like, when's the last time if they came out and said, "Hey, just so you know, you should be playing this job this way"? But you know, whatever.
Well, don't take this the wrong way, but I think it's completely coincidental. I think.
Yeah, I agree. I know.
The players who frequent the career Beastmaster players fall under 2 categories. You got those that are treating it like a frontline DPS, and they realized, okay, they've been adjusting things to move it onto the front line. I get what you're doing, and yeah, I think that's always been the point with Beastmaster. People sometimes what players do with a job differs from what Square Enix initially designed or think a job should be. The prime case of this was what they did with Ninja and Samurai when Rise of the Xylark came out. Samurai was meant to be a tank when it came out. Yeah, and Ninja was supposed to be a DPS with the enfeebling effect. But players swapped them around, so Ninja was the tank and Samurai became a heavy DPS. And they just said, "You know what? Fuck it. Go with it." we're not going to fight you here. But now I think they are actually fighting back, saying, no, actually, this is how you meant to do this.
Yeah, now we don't. How do we fix this? But
so yeah, and the second category of Beastmaster players are the career players that can't get over the fact that this job is not summoner.
Yep.
And
you just put your pet on it and do as much damage as possible.
Yeah, you saw it when they literally, as they announced the patch notes we have been talking about, there was a thread made on the Auction House forum, which is like, but they're not fixing the ready distance. I want to fight. I'm of course paraphrasing here, but whatever. But I want to be able to fight in the back line. It's like, dude, the job isn't that anymore. Seriously, get out of your own fucking way.
Yeah.
It's
especially with the gear that that the job can wear now.
Yeah.
I mean,
SC has actually thrown these precise players have been thrown a bone. The Ankusa Axe, the SG4 and the SG5 have player DT and pet DT on them. So if you want to play beasts like that and stand in range and not only do like 50% of your job, if that, by all means. Some fights you should do that, like Fu. I get that. But just these people that are so entrenched, if they want Beastmaster to be involved in more content, you have to meet the meta halfway.
Yeah, it's almost like the way that I look at it is like, and I am totally outsider when I say this, because I know there's going to be some people right now who try to take a shit on me, but I feel like Beastmaster has always been that class where it's like the loner class, and they want their ability to do everything in the game by themselves if they want to. And I think Square Enix has kind of put their foot down and said, no, we're going to change how you play this job if you want to continue to play it. And that means playing with other people, changing how you play your own class, and we're going to add an entirely other element to all the pets that we introduce, and it's going to benefit you and more importantly, and the people that you're in a group with. So
yeah. So this update's going to really be interesting to see not only how the players themselves or the Beastmaster players, old and new, take it, but also the community at large, because if Beastmasters want to be involved in more content, they have to learn to really meet people halfway. I can't state that enough. These players who want to remain on the back line and still want to be involved in content, get out of your own way. It's the best advice I can give. And yeah, bro.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a good area to wrap up. I think we both went longer than what we thought, but it was great. I mean,
yeah,
we've got a ginormous audience right now, so I think it was good. I mean, for this, we've got like 43 people right now. So I mean, that's
hey, what's up?
Pretty big for a YouTube live stream, not Twitch. I don't do Twitch anymore, so for a YouTube live stream, it's pretty good. So, yeah. Anyone else, if you want to watch this again, I'll be posting it again here in a couple days. But yeah, keep updates. Next Thursday, American, Friday in New Zealand, or something. Or Wednesday in New Zealand. Who knows?
It lands on Friday afternoon, so I'll be getting out of work and get home, just chill for a bit, download the update, and enjoy the carnage as the Sage Lord Mammal starts wiping the floor with half the server.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to that. And, well, I guess no. So other than that, Saturday we'll be doing a new actual podcast recording. So that'll be with Hunting for Games. If you've got any questions, you got about a day left to post them on the forums or Reddit. Other than that, anything else, Rua, you want to leave us with? I know you said you've been thinking about not a Beastmaster, but a Paladin video to put out. Anything else?
I'm going to put it to the community, actually, because it's really up in the air whether it's going to be Paladin or Beastmaster next. I'm just going to put it to a poll. After my main priority is getting the first chapter of this new lore series out, and then I'll put it to the community.
Perfect. Okay.
But on that note, bro, I'm needed down the pub. So
go drink some beer, bro.
Yeah. Anyhow, thanks. Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'll see you around.
All right, see you, Ru. All right, everyone, make sure you go subscribe to Rua's channel. Obviously, he's got all the good stuff, and we're going to cut it to an end here tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Subscribe. Obviously, you know, when we do these streams, we don't do a whole bunch of engagement within the chat, but we appreciate you watching, and be on the lookout for this on YouTube. I'll probably edit it up just a little bit, or maybe not. I don't know. But y'all have a good night. We'll talk to you real soon. Or maybe I'll just hang out here because my mic died or my mouse died, and you know, it fell behind the TV. So any questions that anyone has, go ahead and post it while I continue to look for the cable for my mouse. I found it, so you better ask quick. See y'all.